How do I create a knowledge base for ChatGPT? That's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. Now, whether you're using it for a chat or for an actual GPT, by the end of this video, you'll know what a knowledge base is, why you need one for better, more consistent results where you're not having to give as much feedback, where people get stuck and how to avoid it, how to store and structure your knowledge base for ChatGPT, when and where to use it, and how to get started today. My name is Brittany Long. I'm a former award-winning educator turned copywriter turned AI trainer when ChatGPT came out, and I was like, crap, I gotta pivot. So if you're in that space where you're like, crap, I gotta pivot, first of all, I get it. Now, if you've been using AI, but you find yourself thinking, didn't I already tell this to ChatGPT last time? Why am I having to tell it again? Why do I have to keep repeating myself anytime I ask ChatGPT for help? Is there a way to train ChatGPT so I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time? The answer is yes. I'm glad you're here. Having a knowledge base makes it easier for ChatGPT to understand you, and it makes it easier for you because you don't have to tell it all the stuff again and again. It means you don't have to go searching for it every time. So I'm going to save you a ton of time with this video. First things first, what is a knowledge base? A knowledge base in terms of ChatGPT is a structured collection of all your most important information. Not like sensitive information, but information like who your audience is, what your offers are. Think about it like your SOPs. Whenever you bring a new team member on, you don't just throw them to the wolves and say,
hey, good luck, hope everything works out.
And if you have done that before, you know it doesn't work and that you end up either not being able to work with that person because they don't know anything because you didn't train them on anything, or you spend so much time then training them and helping them catch up that you could have just done it yourself. So basically a knowledge base is a way to train ChatGPT on what you want it to know. It's like the training manual that you might get in a corporate job or a ChatGPT cheat sheet. These knowledge-based documents help ChatGPT understand your style, preferences, and processes, remember key details, and give you better, more context-aware responses. Instead of typing long, repetitive prompts every single time and hoping you don't forget something or leave something out, your knowledge-based documents basically remind ChatGPT of this important information. Some of the knowledge-based documents you might want include your business details. So an audience knowledge-based document, that's who your audience is, what their pain points are, what gets them excited, what keeps them up at night, why do they come to you, what are their problems. The more in-depth, the better. What you offer, what your upsells are, your pricing, and your angles, messaging, positioning. You also need knowledge-based documents for your branding. You also need knowledge-based documents for your writing style and tone guidelines. So what's your voice sound like? What are words you do say? What are words you don't say? What are the words you use because your audience uses those words? How do you respond to your emails? How do you respond to your social posts? What do your social posts normally sound like? What do your blog posts normally look like? Now, ChatGPT can be a team member that can help across the board with all of these things as long as it has the information to be a good team member. And then finally, the feedback that you've given ChatGPT. So if you've given it feedback on how you want copy written, you don't want to have to continue to give it feedback again and again. By having a knowledge base with all your feedback that you've done, it helps ChatGPT have a better understanding of how you write and what you do and don't like. In other words, by providing some kind of feedback documentation, you have to do less feedback now. Again, the goal here is to not have to reinvent the wheel, but to use what you've already done. So why do you need a knowledge base? You're tired of repeating yourself constantly. You don't want to have to feel like you're constantly retraining ChatGPT, and you want to use ChatGPT like a team member. Now, if you don't have any kind of knowledge-based documentation already, you don't have to start from scratch. I have a few prompts to help you get started. First, for your business details, you'll say something like this. I want you to review everything I've told you about my business and help me come up with business documentation that talks about my mission, vision, and values, what my business is, who it helps, and what my offers are. Next, you'll give it feedback. So after you press enter, it's going to give you a response. You give it feedback. Yes, I agree with this. No, I don't. And make those little tweaks. Again, the goal here is to not have to start from scratch. Next, the writing style and voice guidelines. You can say, review the feedback that I've given you previously on sales copy, email copy, whatever kind of copy it's written for you, and tell me what you think my voice style and format is based on what we've talked about so far. Now that should pull up a lot of it, and again, you're going to give it feedback afterwards. These two prompts are a great way to start without starting from scratch. And so that you don't have to write them all down, I actually have them included in the description below. Now, I sometimes see people getting stuck on their knowledge base. Here's where they normally get stuck. One, they'll tell me, I don't know where to start. Think about the things you always feel like you're explaining to ChatGPT. That's the best place to start. It's going to save you the most time. And then, of course, there's the documentation that I already talked to you about. And I'll list all of those below as well. Problem number 2, I don't have time to create a knowledge base. I can help you use ChatGPT to create it quickly and draw out some of the things you need to know. This is from my years of experience as a copywriter. I have something called AI Speed Coach, where we meet together for 20 minutes and we can bust this out. I'll put a link to that below. Number 3, you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to forget to update my knowledge base. So let's say you're pivoting right now, your audience is shifting a little bit, or your offers are shifting, maybe you're adding a new offer, and you're like, I'm not going to remember to update this knowledge base. With ChatGPT's new scheduled task, you can actually ask ChatGPT to remind you to update your knowledge base once a month. Now, for most people, once a quarter is fine, but if you're a creator like me and you're creating new things all the time, then you may want to consider having it remind you once a month. The last place people really get stuck with this is that they don't give feedback. They just copy and paste what ChatGPT gave them. Then when they get an outcome they're not looking for, they're like,
it doesn't work.
But just like a human team member, you have to be able to give ChatGPT that feedback.
Here's what I like, here's what I don't like, here's what's correct, here's what's not correct, and here's why.
Like a human team member, it will not read your mind. Yet. Just kidding. Hopefully. Next, how do you store your knowledge base? This is really important because if you don't store it properly, you're not going to be able to find it, and it's going to cost you just as much time as if you didn't have it. Now, I am a little bit disorganized. That's just how my brain works. And so for me, I had to put it in a spreadsheet. Now, you may be thinking,
Brittany, it's 2025. Seriously, you're not using Notion or something like that?
No, because it does not work for me. If it works for you, amazing. Use what works for you. Notion, ClickUp, whatever. Spreadsheet works for me. Now, when are you going to use this knowledge base and where are you going to use it? Use it when you're writing content and you need quick access to templates or frameworks. The things that you've already spent a lot of time creating, use those things. When you're training ChatGPT to match your brand, voice, and style, these are all times that you'd want to use your knowledge base documents. And honestly, I use one of the documents pretty much in every chat, so it has this full picture of me. One other knowledge base document I didn't talk about earlier is a personal one. And so I have a personal chat and a personal GPT. By the way, if you want to learn how to create GPTs, I also have a link in the description that's called How to Create a GPT. That's going to help you with that. But I have a personal one also where it has personal information about my health, and I keep track of my workout journal, my food journal, and how I'm feeling every day so that it can identify patterns. And I have a keep track of my food journal, my workout journal, even my blood glucose, so that it has the information needed to look at patterns. So let's say you're like, all right, Brittany, I get why I need a knowledge base. How can I get started today? First, decide where you want to store your knowledge base. Like I said, I have a spreadsheet, and then I create Google Docs for my knowledge base and then put those into the spreadsheet. Next, you're going to come up with a naming convention for your knowledge base documents. Mine are always knowledge base and then whatever it is. So it's knowledge base, audience, knowledge base, brand voice, and so on. Next, you're going to use AI to help you build it. Use my prompts and the suggestions for knowledge base documents below to help you get started. And then voila, just like that, you can start using it. Now, I would love to make it even easier for you, so I have created a knowledge base GPT to help you create your knowledge base faster, easier, and better. And guess what? It's free. Click the link that has knowledge base GPT to get all the details. I worked really hard on this so that you don't have to spend as much time working on it. Again, my name is Brittany Long, and I'll see you next time.